Ability is what you're capable of doing. Motivation determines what you do. Attitude determines how well you do it. With that being said, a very pleasant morning and warm greetings to one and all present here. Hope everyone is safe and healthy. With the drop in COVID 19 cases, it is important to speed up vaccination, continue COVID 19 appropriate behavior, and ensure strict enforcement of restrictions in private gatherings. I'm pleased to introduce myself as Ms. Niveda Rajat, Assistant Professor from the Department of Human Resource Management, shall be your host for the day. It's my privilege to extend a warm welcome to our guest of honor, Ms. Vatsala Banerjee, co-founder of Women with Wings, Vice President of WICCI. I would also like to give my heartiest welcome to Dr. Jem, our ever kind head of the department, our faculty members, and technical team of the department. Last but never the least, I extend a cheerful welcome to our wonderful participants. Before we commence, the feedback form will be available in the YouTube chat box at the end of the session. You are requested to complete and submit the form before 2 p.m. today. Later, the form will be deactivated. The e certificate for participation will be sent to your register email immediately. May I now call upon an inspiring personality, Dr. R.J.M., head of the department, to deliver the welcome address. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Niveda. You don't have to control your thoughts. You have to stop letting them control you. Dan Millman, with this wonderful quote, a very good morning to one and all. It's my pleasure to welcome you all for this national webinar on strategies for supporting mental health at workplace on behalf of the Department of Human Resource Management, Dr.M.G.R. Educational and Research Institute, University. A cheerful welcome to all the participants from all over the world. Heartfelt thanks to our founder chancellor, Dr. A.C. Shanmugam, and to our Honorable President, Engineer A.C.S. Arun Kumar, for their never-ending motivation and support to us in all the ways. It's my privilege and honor to welcome our speaker of the day, Madam Vatsala Banerjee, co-founder, Women's with Wings. She is an HR expert, an emotional intelligence master practitioner. Besides, she is a life coach too. Hearty thanks for your presence today and happy to have you today with us. Welcome, ma'am. Warm welcome and thanks to all the executives, deans, HODs, faculty members, and all others for motivating us in all the ways. Hearty thanks to Dr. A.R. Arnachalam, Dean Academics, and Dr. K. Sendil Kumar, Dean Administration of our Phase 2 campus for their continuous support and motivation to us in all the ways. Thank you and welcome to two lovely people who always helps us in making all our program a grand success, who is none other than Mr. Ganesh Babu and Miss Akshaya. Welcome and thank you both for your technical support. Today, we are going to have a wonderful session on the topic strategies for supporting mental health at workplace, which is a needed one in the current scenario and forever. Mental health refers to the state of our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It impacts the way we feel, think, and act, make it important in all areas of our lives. Mental health plays an important role in the way we deal with stress, how we release to others, and the decisions we make in our daily lives. Without positive mental health, it will be almost impossible to realize our full potential, work productively, make a meaningful contribution to our community, or handle the stress that comes with life. A healthy mental state will help all of us to leverage our everyday power to achieve the success we seek and to live a purposeful life. All of us, we know that in the year 2020, employers have confronted a number of complex factors that threaten to cause or exacerbate mental health challenges in the workplace. Employees continue to struggle with the direct threat of COVID-19, and a recent MetLife survey also states that 74% of the workers are concerned about at least one aspect of their well-being as a result of the virus. Frontline workers face the daily trauma of putting their health at risk. Teachers and parents are navigating distance learning, and office workers struggle either to adopt to long-term remote work or anxiously debate whether they are comfortable with their return to the office. The economic outlook remains uncertain, while recent wildfires, hurricanes, and urban flashpoints compound stress. With this background, it should be no surprise that this fall looks to be one of the most uncertain periods in the recent memory. We believe we need an employer led mental health response to match. In this era, an anxiety leading organizations are stepping up, focused on a central question: how can they strategically invest, provide mental health resources, train managers, and mold their culture to help employees to navigate this difficult period and sustain the benefits for a long term? To answer all these questions and give a wonderful suggestions or the strategies which have to be supported inside the organization, we have a wonderful and a very eminent speaker today with us, Ms. Vitsala Banerjee. Hope this session will be a fruitful one. Without taking much time, once again, I welcome you all. Stay safe, wear mask, maintain social distancing. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma'am, for warmly welcoming each and every one. May I now call upon Ms. Vasanti, Deputy Dean, Academic Staff College, and Assistant Professor from the Department of Human Resource Management, to introduce our eminent chief guest. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Niveda. It's a warm welcome to all participants. To be inspired is great, but to be an inspiration is a honor. It is a pleasant task for me to introduce our chief guest speaker, Ms. Vatsala Banerjee, founder, Women with Wings, VP, WICCI, UPHR. It if one looks closer, look at the alchemy of achieving person, the perseverance and hard work same side by side. There are there are these pioneering spirit and willingness. These are the pioneer spirit and willingness. Our guest of honor and today is a living ETM of women transforming lives of women from housewives to entrepreneurs. She has 2 decades of experience in L&D and she has contributed in setting up life coaching centers for employees and HR domains. She has worked in IT and IT enabled services, IT R&D, and pioneer in setting L&D practice for employees. She is master practitioner, DISC, certified trainer, and life coach. With his warm words, I welcome our guest of speaker, Ms. Vachla Banerjee. Over to you, madam.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, the most awaited time has arrived. Without any further delay, I welcome our guest of honor and speaker for the day, Ms. Vatsala Banerjee, to proceed with her presentation. Ma'am, we have no doubt that your experience talk is going to be an eye opener for all the participants today. Thank you so much once again for accepting our invitation and gracing the program with your wonderful presence as our resource person. I now request you to take over this session. To you now, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Niveda. Thanks a lot. Thanks everyone for giving me this opportunity to be present here and talk about something which is rarely talked about, which is mental health. Though it after the pandemic, a lot of organizations, a lot of people have become aware. Yet, mental health takes a seat back when we start talking about health. If we really think and what does health mean, then we get an answer that you might be free from diseases, you are able to do your work properly, you are away from doctors, that kind of a thing. But if we really talk about the definitions, the definition of health itself has been changing over a period of time by our organization, World Health Organization, which lays a foundation around the principle of good health. Let me share with you, let me take you back to the history before I talk about the strategies which today the corporates are following regarding mental health. What does health mean? So, the World Health Organization, as we call WHO, it defines, and I'm going to read it from my notes so that I don't miss out on the critical points which are being mentioned here. It says it defines health as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. Now, this definition came in picture in the year 1948, and we are sitting in 2021. Over a period of time, it has evolved. Now, the WHO definition links very explicitly health with the well being part. Okay. Now, well-being, what does well-being means? Well-being refers to the positive aspect, positive state of human mind, right? Framing health as a positive aspiration. But what does what does people like us, they do? We take health as our physical health. It is probably over a period of time this thing has changing, and COVID was more like a knock at our door, wherein it says that it is not just the physical health, it is the emotional well-being, it is the physical well-being, it is the mental well-being that is important, and that needs to be taken care of. We all were living our life as is. As the day goes, we were taking it as it is, not really putting in effort, not really working towards the goal of taking care of our mental well-being, mental health, and everything. In the year 2011, a lot of changes happened from 1948 to 2021, but in 2011, Heber proposed a new definition of health as the ability to adapt and to self-manage. So notice this word, ability to adapt and self-manage. What does that mean? You adapt to the situations and circumstances that life is throwing on you and manage it by yourself. Now, whose duty and accountability it is? It is your duty. Yeah, it is an individual's duty to take care of the situation. If I go by this definition, then good health has to be taken care by the person, by the individual himself or herself. However, this is very, very subjective to the circumstances and situations that this individual is in. It's not the responsibility of anyone, it's the responsibility of the individual. It kept on evolving, but the crux remained the same. When we talk about good health, it's an amalgamation of physical, mental, and emotional and social well being. Mental and emotional, I'm clubbing it together because your mental state is a lot driven by the emotions that you are in, right? If I talk about well being, when it comes to the health scenario and the medical scenario, typically until few years from today, it was sitting outside the medical history. It was not so well taken. And forget about the medical history, it is also taken aside by us in the society. How many of us are really or have really accepted the fact that mental health is something? We were not even aware that we are mentally sick, or we are dealing with certain crises, we are dealing with emotions, we were dealing with depression, or we were dealing with anxiety, and everything was having an impact to our body, to our to our physical state. Now, who was responsible? Ultimately, it's the individual. But when it comes to the society, it is also about the environment that we are living in, the environment that we are working in. They are responsible. We are responsible for each other because societal health is also part of it. Societal well being or social well being is also part of it. So, in a way, we become responsible and accountable for taking care of each other's mental health as well, leaving aside the physical well being. Now, mental health and physical health are inextricably linked to each other. Have you ever thought that when you are too stressed or when you are overworked, what happens to your body? How your body is reacting? What changes you go through? Have you ever observed that? I doubt. Next time, whenever you are too overworked or stressed, just notice how your body reacts to it. You will find that your eyes are heavy, your head is heavy, and the responses that you're giving during that state of mind are also not as they should be, as perfect as they should be. You might get an headache. What will you say to yourself? Oh, I'm tired. Hence, I got a headache. Okay. Suddenly, your palpitation will go up. Heart palpitation goes up. Cardiovascular activity. That's what it is. That means What does this mean? Your mental state is directly linked to your physical state. People will have migraines, people will have body ache. When you resist yourself in doing something, or when you have a lot of anger within yourself, you will find that there is a sudden rise in the body temperature that you have. Yeah. You will suddenly feel the heat in your ears. Why do you feel that? And that point in time, if you check your body temperature, you must have crossed the 98.6 to 99. I can guarantee that. You start getting feverish. If you keep a lot of things inside, a lot of things happen to your body. So, your mental state is connected to your physical well being. Now, when COVID happens, yeah, you know what? When COVID happened, there was a knock at our door, there was a knock in our mind, and they said that, boss, you need to take care of your mental well being and your social well being as well as your physical well being. Why? Because we were all kind of trapped in four walls of our house with same set of people, family, yes, with the same work, because everything went online. We were just there facing the screen and just looking at that. What happened to the social well-being? Our social well-being got restricted to a few members who were there at home. To be very honest, COVID time gave us an awakening call towards mental well-being, and also towards the fact that what all is required when it comes to mental well-being and social well-being. Then came the second relation, wherein mental well-being was related to the social well-being. Before COVID, we were going out, we were going to office, we were interacting with people, we were meeting our friends, we were meeting our relatives. We were able to share our heart out. But after COVID, during that phase, the information sharing part, and when I say information, mind it, I'm talking about your emotions, your physics, your feelings, what was going on in your mind, the challenges that you were facing. We were restricted to sharing it with the group that we were in. Yes, there were phone calls. You will say we were making Zoom calls, we were phone calls. Keep a hand on your heart and answer this. Are those phone calls and Zoom calls good enough? This session that I'm taking right now, how would it had been if I was present there physically with you? Yes, the distances are becoming smaller, are reducing. Hence, I'm able to take a call sitting, do this session sitting in Delhi and talking to you. However, if it is physically happening, it would have been much better. Same goes with our feelings and reaction. That personal touch with the individual was missing. And there we started evolving the entire strategy, the way the corporates were working, the way the individual were working. And I will not only talk about the corporate strategy, even the personal strategy, the human strategy, that also got evolved. We started feeling the need of staying in touch with our loved ones. Thanks to technology, at least we were able to see each other face to face. And hence it became important for us to be aware and take care of our mental health. During the COVID time, you know, while COVID was a deadly virus, the most important factor that actually caused calamities was the fear of unknown, fear of being alone, because you were secluded in one room all by yourself. You know, the medicines were kept outside, food was kept outside, nobody was able to touch. Think of that situation. I had been personally in that situation, and I had been personally helping a lot of people being in the task force, and I get goosebumps even thinking that right now, that how bad it was, as if you're not allowed, you're not, you're jailed. It was that feeling. And that's when the mental health got impacted a lot. What helped me personally, because I am a practitioner, the meditation, my journaling, and other techniques which I was following, that helped me to overcome, but it did impacted me. And that's when we started with a lot of campaigns in our organization, and I started taking sessions with a lot of people, and individuals came to me for life coaching on different aspects, and many aspects were anxiety, depression, fear of losing people, fear of losing job, because a lot of corporates, they went through a overhaul. They had to let go of people, so they were all living in fear. So a lot of things got changed. Are you aware that in the month of May, we actually celebrate Mental Health Awareness Week? So this started again in 1949 in US, and from there we started spreading the light on mental illness. Yet it was not very well accepted in India and not taken care of. If the moment you tell someone that there's somebody, I'm not feeling mentally okay or I need a counselor, the person or probably their family member himself or herself will laugh it out and say, "Oh, come on, have you gone mad? Why do you need it? It's all okay. Nothing is gone wrong with you. You look fine." But looking fine and being fine are two different things. You remember in the beginning in 2011 when the definition was changed, we said that it is the individual's self accountability to stay mentally healthy. So the first person who gets to know that the person needs help or is not mentally okay, or there is something to do with the emotional being, is self. We should be aware of our emotions and feelings and should seek help. And if somebody is coming to you saying that listen, there is something wrong with me, give your ear to that person. And when I say give your ear to that person, the most important part is listening. All you need to do is listen and not passing judgments, not giving advices that this is how you need to do, that is how you need to do, you are absolutely fine. No. Do you know it is absolutely okay to be not okay? You must have heard this saying, it's okay not to be okay. But the fact that it's okay not to be okay comes from the acceptance that yes, I'm fine if I'm not okay. That acceptance is not there. Rather than sulking in silence, we should talk about it. We should accept. And I'm glad that today we are having a talk that itself shows that we have come a long way and there is a lot of changes that have happened. We are accepting that mental health and mental uh, being is important and we need to take care of it. A very recent global study, let me just pick up some figures, wherein more than 2,700 employees were asked to fill a survey. 75% feel more socially isolated as a result of COVID, with 67% experiencing high stress level, 57% feeling more anxious, and 53% dealing with greater emotional exhaustion. People say that you're working from home, so it is easy. No, that's not the fact. Working from home had increased the working hours by at least 2 3 hours. It's like you are available 24 across 7. And that's what happened initially. Now, when that happened, that caused burnout. People were breaking. There was mental illness that was seeping in. And we were not aware of it until we ourselves suffered. The only good thing, or I would say, plus thing that happened during this time, everybody was facing it. Everybody, right from the top management to the middle management to the lower management, everybody was struggling to manage this work from home, which is for such a long duration. There are companies which have completely gone work from home right now, like TCS, Infosys, or IT companies, a lot of them. Only a few have asked that only if it is too important then you come to work. Why? Because they want you to be safe. It is not about the job. However, the side effect of having this is just unbelievable. Mental health stigma exists has been existing in in this environment for quite some time, but in professional setting, it has become more effective, or it's there more after the pandemic or during the pandemic, because there is remote working, there are flexible arrangements that have been seeped in. And if I talk about, with so many people losing their life, be it from your family or be it from the neighbors, there was a disorder that came in. It was called seasonal affective disorder. Now, what is seasonal affective disorder? Basically, it's seasonal. It's during that time that you are facing. The moment the COVID lockdown was picked up, people started moving out. They started feeling relaxed. They started feeling better. Pandemic has really heightened the emotions of stress, anxiety, as I said earlier. But corporates came up with a lot of strategies, a lot of things which we have to take care of. When we did a survey, this was an Oracle study again. When the survey was done, I'll again read the figure here. 76% of workers believed that their company should be doing more to support the mental health of their workforce. And 78% felt that due to pandemic, they have negative impact on their mental health because they were dealing it with all. And I remember one of the very senior doctor of All India Medical, he said that stay positive. Whatever WhatsApp videos we were getting, they were all saying and repeating the same thing: stay safe, stay healthy, stay positive. Now, this term staying positive was the most important medicine that was working in COVID to fight with the fear that we're in. But that is what was not available with us. Because for staying positive, you need stay a positive environment. You need to have that support system with you. And where comes from where is the support system comes? From your family, from your friends, from the workplace that you're working in. We spend more than 670% of our time in office or with our working colleagues. That's the time we are there, though it is 8 hours or 8 to 12 hours, but that's the place where we belong to. And then comes our family and friends. If the positivity is not coming from there, then what will happen? So hence a lot of things change, and a lot of corporates, they immediately came up with a lot of policy changes, a lot of strategy changes that happen. I have seen organization setting up life coaching center. Like even my organization, they had set up a life coaching center, and it came during COVID time. And there are other organizations also like Accenture, Infosys, or Starbucks, ECS. They came up with brilliant strategies. That doesn't mean that mental health was not being taken care earlier. It was taken care earlier as well. Earlier, we used to have a helpline in almost all the corporates, and helpline to talk about anything and everything that an employee is facing while he is working or related to home or personal issue. It was a helpline wherein professional counselors were available to support an employee's mental well-being. However, after COVID, we had to work beyond this. The corporates had to come up with a helping hand and support the employees that I am there for you. A lot of things happen. For example, when a person uh, suffered from COVID, a basic COVID kit being immediately sent by the corporate was a step, or was a step shown to that I am there. I am there to take care of you. I am there to take care of your family. What happened during COVID? A lady of the house, if she suffers from COVID, she can't cook. And if the house is sealed, nobody is there to give you grocery, nobody is there to take care of your food part. What if your corporate offers you food coupons or supplies you food? That was a big, big support. It was not only the physical support, it was the mental and emotional support that was being provided by the corporates. Companies came up with certain strategy to deal with the burnout and stress and anxiety level that were building. One of the most common one was coaching and counseling session. So a lot of companies, they started offering free counseling sessions by professional experts who were there. And those coaching and counseling sessions, trust me, were absolutely confidential. They were not something wherein, and that confidentiality part is what actually helped these people to come out of the trauma, because they were facing trauma of loneliness, of losing their job or losing their loved ones, because that was the biggest fear. If you get COVID, you might lose your life, right? So those coaching and counseling sessions were helping people in terms of taking care of their emotional well-being. The challenges, the kind of challenges employees were facing was not only the trauma of losing the loved ones or being suffered from COVID, but it was also about the work pressure. When you're in office, you're able to interact with your team members, with your subordinates or with your bosses, and get the clarity on. Though the web conferences and phone were available, yet that face-to-face communication was missing, and that impacted, that actually restricted them. So while there were a lot of things were going on the mental awareness part, a lot of changes were happening even in the communication piece. But the initial bit, was a bit of lag behind, right? So everybody had to work together, right from the technology to this being as well. Now, there were therapists who were available on call, who are still available on call, right? A lot of corporates, what they did was the employees who were suffering from COVID, they were taken to a hotel wherein the hotel was booked and the doctors were visiting them. Along with the doctor, they had therapists and coaches who were also visiting. Okay, because of the confidentiality part, I won't name those organizations, but that's the kind of support corporates have provided. And the same thing they provided to the family members. Because an employee, when he becomes your employee, it is not just the employee, it is also the family that gets connected to you. It's a beautiful relationship like a husband and wife when they get married. It's not just two individuals who get married, it is two families. So when a person joins an organization, it is not just the individual, it is the entire family that gets linked to that organization. So it's like a second family coming in together. And imagine as many number of employees and as many families coming together, with you. So that was the thing. Apart from this, there were certain softwares which were taken up, these health apps which were there, uh, which were made available. So what these apps do, these were meditation apps, and these we call online mental health resources. For example, Unilever, for a matter of fact, and I'm quoting this because it's available on internet. You can find out what Unilever did. Unilever launched a 14-day mental well-being resilience program for 62,000 global employees. What was the need? As long as my employee is mentally fit, he will be able to perform, he will be able to be present for work, the kind of task or the projects that he or she is doing. And in the current scenario, this was extremely important. And it is not just COVID. COVID was just an awakening call. We say that we are living in a VUCA world, volatile world, uncertain world. Life is too uncertain. And mental health resources are the resources which are to be taken care of, which needs to be taken care by the corporates. It's the need of an hour, and hence it was important. The hotel industry, who faced so much of disruption, I've heard the CEO's campaign of spreading positivity and awareness about the fact that we are one family and we are there together with each other. Now, how did this campaign happen? CEOs addressing in open houses to all the employees, right? Or giving a call to certain individual who are facing challenges. Mailers were sent. Open mailers by top executives were sent to the individuals one on one. This is the kind of support that was provided. Then there was another beautiful concept that I saw evolving during this time was called performance break. Now, what does performance break means? Or taking time off. What does that mean? That doesn't mean that you will not work or you are taken away from the work. That basically meant if you are feeling stressed out, you take a time off and take care of yourself. And that was important. The leadership roles that were existing in the organization evolved in a new way during this time. What does a manager need? A manager, what skill set a manager would need? Somebody who is able to manage his team, keep the team together, get the work done, right? That's what a first time manager would do. Understand the person. One more skill got added to this managerial skill set was understanding the mental state of an employee. And mind you, the manager himself is also going through the same thing. One of the biggest tasks that came on the training team or HR was to come up with different campaigns and different training sessions for not only the employees but also the managers. During this time, I heard a lot of people even suiciding because they lost their job or they lost someone. There were corporates who started with sessions wherein they became a part of mental workforce. And who became mental workforce part? Some of the leadership team members, the managers, and the HR experts or business partners. They were specifically trained. Now, this is the difference that happened. Okay, before COVID, we had a separate workforce wherein we were available through helpline, and of course, business partner were playing a role. But the business partners and leaders, they further got equipped with certain skill sets of being aware of mental state of the employees or their team members. Discussions were provided, expertise was provided to these managers, to business partners, so that they were aware, wherein they are not only taking care of the employees but also taking care of self. You remember the definition which I said earlier? You have to manage self. But I think from an employee perspective, he wants my corporate is there, my family is he's my it's my family, they should take care of me. So that's the expectation. And HR has that responsibility because it's human resources. We are there to take care of the resources that we have. How it helped? It actually helped a lot of people. When I have my business partner, when I have my manager there with me, giving me a call, asking me about my state, being aware of what I'm going through, that helped an employee like me to deal with anxiety, to deal with stress, to deal with depression that I was getting into. I'll talk about those signs a little later. Let me talk about these strategies which are there. There was another, some of the very big organizations actually worked on it, like Microsoft, Goldman Sachs, or Accenture, Samsung. They all were working towards it. A lot of mental awareness sessions were started. There's a beautiful practice that we have started. It's called affirmations. So every second day, or we send self affirmations. What are these affirmations? Affirmations are some beautiful statements which an individual reads and repeats. So we started educating them. Like, I am healthy and happy in my current state. If you repeat this statement 20 times or 10 times even, see the changes that happens in your body and your mental state, how it impacts. Our counselor at work who is there, she's available 24 across 7 for people, for calls that they were dealing, for the situations that they were dealing in. And trust me, there have been cases wherein a person was dealing with a dual personality disorder, or a person dealing with performance issue, a person dealing with work life balance. They would come up to her that, how do I manage? Females, especially. Sudden pressure was there on them, working female. They have to take care of the house, they have to take care of the kids, they have to take care of the husband and work. Suddenly they start feeling like an octopus with 10 different arms, tentacles together, working together and getting things done. And everywhere perfection is required. Everywhere female is required to perform high. They can't compromise on the performance. They can't compromise in the performance at home, taking care of the kids, taking care of their studies, because it's online studies. So while you're not only working on a laptop for your office, but you're also looking at your kid's laptop, how he or she is doing in our studies. So special helplines were set up for females to deal with their issues, to deal with the challenges that they were facing. And of course, thanks to the corporates which came up these with performance breaks and all. There was a another strategy that a lot of corporate followed was managing work life balance habit. Now, during this work life, how do you manage these work life balance habits? You must have heard or seen that suddenly, corporates are having Fun Fridays. Now, Fun Friday initially was restricted to office premises, wherein we will have activities and other things, fun activities, awards, recognition, and blah, 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 all those stuff. How did we do it online? The Fun Fridays, wherein people with same team, they will come together, they will have probably a tea together over Zoom session, talking about everything but not work, talking about the challenges but not work, talking about something which add to the joys, right? That was Fun Friday. There was a Easy Wednesday. Now, Easy Wednesday, why? Because it's in the middle of the week, and while work is pressurizing you, targets are pressurizing, middle of the week we would have peaceful yoga session or a jam session over Zoom call, people singing together, dancing together and stuff. In fact, I got to know some of the corporates, they celebrated annual days as well over online. How did they do it? They invited participations online wherein individuals had to send their videos, which was shortlisted just like any other show. And those final shortlisted videos, they were asked to perform again, and those were streamlined, live, as we are having a live session here, right from where they were, but with a host and with some fun. So see how things evolved, how things changed. In fact, when I was talking about the manager thing, while HR is doing its part and reaching out to employee in conducting yoga sessions, in conducting mental awareness health sessions, or having coaching and counseling sessions available, leaders specifically were trained and to talk about mental health. Okay. As a manager, what you can do is, as a manager, you can, during this pandemic and this uncertain time, uh, managers had to partner with HR and take care of the employees, right? And thanks that just before COVID it happened, wherein we became started getting aware of the mental health. A lot of celebrities, they started talking about it. Now there are some 4 or 5 techniques which a manager can were actually trained on or can actually use. And trust me, these are not different than what a managerial skill should have. Okay, so I'll just talk about one by one about each thing. First one is be vulnerable. Okay, so one silver lining of the pandemic is that it is normalizing the mental health challenge. Okay, everybody has experienced discomfort, everybody has experienced the challenges. Now, being honest about your mental health struggle and mental being is something that will help. And you need to be vulnerable enough, you need to be open enough to your leaders. And how a employee will be open? When a leader is ready to give ear to the employees so that they feel comfortable to talk to you, to talk to you about the challenges. So any call, any team call, or any one-on-one call may not be just for the work related, but it can be just to have a check-in on how the person is doing, what challenges are they facing. There was a campaign that was started by one of the corporate that's called Let's Talk. Okay. And I was saying the mental health workforce, they called them as mental champions. So during this, who were these mental champions? They were these managers and leaders along with HR workforce. They started sending videos and messages talking about that I'm there, talk to me. Over phone, when I was in a meeting, I would say, hey, is all okay with you? Everything at home are okay with you? And talk generic rather than talking about kid. And how do you do it? First, you become vulnerable, you share your part. The moment they see you opening up, as in the manager opening up, employees will open up. So it's a two-way thing that happens. A little bit of you and this much of their piece of information that you get it. Okay. Model healthy behaviors is something. Okay. So what do you do is how do you do that? So show them that self-care is important. During those talks, during the team meetings, have talks around self-care. Okay, how a person can take care of himself or herself and her emotions and health while continuing the responsibilities that we are doing. And if need be, immediately reach out to the counselor. There's a check-in connection. There's a basically a culture of connecting with the employees that was built in. Now, as I said, there were fun Fridays that came in. That became in the check-in points. Okay. In some of the companies, and one of the studies, it was a global study. Approximately 40% of the employees, they said that nobody had called me from my company to check on how I am doing, which is such a sad part. And 38% had a mental health decline. Of course, they took a step, but a little late. And I'm glad that now corporates are working towards it, finding it fast. A simple how are you and asking specific questions about if you need support, if you need help, is something that was required. And some corporates really did it well, wherein the work was given a second priority, but mental health was given the first priority. What has happened during this? When they did this, they won the trust and support of the employee that are there. जिनको वो सपोर्ट दिया था उनसे वो सपोर्ट अब मिल रहा है वापस. So they are getting that support back. Why? Because at that point in time, when they needed, the organization, the leader was present for them. So see the change that in leaders and managers have gone through or the organization have come through. Offering flexibility at work was another thing that is being practiced by a lot of leaders these days. So yes, I have to log in at 8:30, but I might log in at 11. Might log in at 11 o'clock. Why? Because my daughter has to appear for an exam, and she's worried, she's nervous because it's an online exam. Now, whose duty is this? While it is the employee's duty because it's her daughter's exam, But it is also the duty of the manager to understand, and it's an indirect duty, okay, it's not a responsibility, but it's just that little flexibility being given, that okay, don't log in at 8:30, log in at 11:15 once everything is done and you are there. So what happened? She's there for her family, she's there for the organization. What is the gain? Gain is employee got the support. Gain for the manager is manager got the trust. Next time, if anything is required or an extended hour work is required from the employee, he or she will get it immediately. That's the kind of. So those boundaries and those norms which were there, which were set earlier, they are changing. They are becoming flexible now, right? It's like you pour water in one glass, and it will take a shape like this. And if you pour water in a bottle, it will be taking a shape like this. So that flexibility came in through the corporates, came in through the leadership, came in through the CEOs who were there. That didn't mean that their performance or the productivity went down, rather it went up for all the corporates. One of the most important thing that a leader would need is to ensure that the team is calm and patient and they are understanding each other. Trusting them, showing trust in them would result in getting trust back. Okay. Earlier, it was not important so much to have that connect and communication so much. But with the changing time and to ensure the mental well-being of an employee, communication became one of the key aspects of the entire thing. Being available for them, be it through your phone, be it voice call, be it WhatsApp message, be it through the web conferences that are there. Uh, the same study which talked about 40% employees wherein they said they are not okay, in that particular study itself, it was said that 23% or more than 23% experienced mental health decline because their managers were not good at communicating. What all were needed during that communication? Was it only that I'm there? No. It was basically the support for the flexible working hours, right communication and setting expectation in terms of performance. Because when you are in office, it's easy to talk about, you get into a meeting, you share, you send email, and you're done. But with the changes thing, that communication piece has taken the front seat and one of the key aspect of corporate, which results in better productivity and performance. In a team meeting, you might have a discussion over the web conference that this is the project and this is what we are supposed to do. But that also need one-on-one communication with the members to check on if everything is okay or if they have understood what is the expectation from them, especially when you see that the person has facing some challenge in terms of performance, or the person seems confused, or the person is quiet. Communication is a two-way channel, so it is not about what you're saying, it is also about observing how you're being perceived or how well people are receiving the information. When you're face to face in a room in a team meeting, it is easy to see that. But when you're doing it on a web conference, looking at a body language of a person, looking at the participation of a person may not be so well possible. Hence, one-on-one interaction from the leadership or the project leader or the manager became important. Then the same communication over the mail is important. A lot of people, a lot of employees, they don't talk about what they are going through. That fear is instilled in them, and that's the reason there are a lot of symptoms that are being seen, and a lot of cases are there wherein there is a mental health decline. There were few additional things that were done. wherein, of course, uh, organization had invested in training, and I'll talk about the training, what all were covered there. They modified the policies and practices which were there because of the COVID. Some corporates which never had work from home or flexible hours, they come with the flexible work hours, paid off time, emails, communication, all those leaves came in. And then came the measure, ensure accountability, that you are asking from an individual or from an employee which was there earlier is not that complicated. Okay, because it is not now just the employee, it is the team's accountability to perform. It is very, very important for all of us to understand this particular part. So there was something, a pulse survey that was done regularly to understand how people are doing now and over time. And in one of many organizations wherein this survey was conducted during the pandemic, uh, people got to know there are primary stressors and there is need of staff, because they need more employees rather than just one employee taking care of it. New programs came up, including remote management skill set, because nobody was aware how to remotely manage teams. So remote management skill set, skill building came up, enhanced well-being and support program came up, stress management program came up. So all these things started coming in, and a lot changed in the work culture. So this is what the corporate did from their part. Apart from this, there were a lot of educational campaigns which were run for the employees, as I said, in the training, through training campaigns or through mailers, wherein employees were made aware of how to deal with the things. Okay, and one was practice self care. That was through, of course, through managing stress, being aware of the emotions. And I've just taken certain notes here. I'll just talk about them. Okay. Now, one particular aspect which I talked about earlier, that these task force, the mental health task force or mental health champions over there, they went through a training program. Why? Because they were supposed to understand the signs of mental health struggle. Okay. Even while there is a sound work culture in place, some employees were struggling with the mental health campaign, mental health issues. Now, how do you assess these signs? How do you get to know these signs? So there are certain assessment. Okay, there's a mental health assessment. So this assessment is not on a paper or anything. It is basically through your observation, keen observation, that you need to find out. And it's not only managers; anybody can do it. Even you can do it for your colleagues or your PM members. Okay, if you see that there is a sudden change in the work habit of an employee or a co-worker, if you see the productivity of the person has gone down, or he or she is not feeling motivated, immediately reach out and talk. But that doesn't mean that you go and ask him that you're not mentally okay. No, don't do that. Okay, ask the right question. So how are you doing? How are you? Have a generic interaction, because the person himself is struggling inside. He or may not speak out this thing. Okay, so have that generic discussion and see how you can support. So make him speak rather than you talking about it. Don't say that you're not looking okay, is everything okay with you? No. Just say, how are you? How things are, right? How are your kids? How is work? Like that. Have a chat over a cup of coffee. Second thing is, second sign is, if you see the person is getting nervous, there is a change in behavior. If the person is nervous, person is irritated, he or she is showing unusual behavior, that is a sign, that could be a sign of person dealing with some mental health issue or some stress. Could be at home, could be in his or personal life, could be at work, but that's a sign. Okay, the third sign is the person started being absent at work, not showing at work, suddenly, without any reason. That's a big, big warning sign. Either the person is looking for a change that is there, or he or she is struggling to something. Excessive fatigue, body ache, these are all signs of stress we need to take care of. Okay. If you see a person suddenly, another sign is socially withdrawing, not appearing for the activities, not appearing in conferences, staying away, staying aloof, just into his or work, that is also a sign of stress. Usual scenario, we take it we take it as is, we don't bother so much about all this. However, these are signs of stress and anxiety, and we really need to work on it. Okay. As an employee, as an individual, when I said that self-care is a part, so in self-care to the employees and to the managers, so what we teach them is to be aware of certain scenarios and certain signs, and some of the signs are similar to what I just shared with you. Now these signs are: when you're not able to sleep, you're sleep deprived, or we call it insomnia. What is insomnia? There's multiple things going on in your mind. Why you can't sleep? Because your brain is continuously working, continuously functioning, thinking about something, and is not at rest. Even while you're trying, you're not able to sleep. You lose sleep, and resulting into overthinking. Now, overthinking and sleep are linked in the same manner as egg and hen. So due to sleep, you're not able to. You due to sleep, you get overthinking, or because of overthinking, you're not getting sleep. All interrelated. Yeah. So be careful, watch out, and go for a deep, nice sleep. But if you're not able to sleep, that means you are getting bothered. You need help. You need little bit support. How do you get support? Is go for meditation, reach out to someone, talk to someone, share your feelings, journal it out. Okay. Second sign is mood changes, which I told you earlier also. So while as a manager, you will be looking at the signs, the mood changes of your employee, but you yourself need to change. See those changes. Am I getting irritated by small things? Am I getting angry by all things? Am I stepping away? Or am I losing interest in what I'm doing? That's what is mood changes and withdrawals are. Okay. If you feel that you're not feeling like working, that's a sign that you need a break. Take a time off. Say to your employee, tell your manager, I need a time off, I need rest. Now, what do you do during that time? Eat well, take care of your body, take care of your emotional state, listen to music, do something what you like. That's what it is. Okay. A lot of corporates, they came up with meditation session. Okay. Mindfulness. You must have heard of this term, mindfulness living. Mindfully be proactive, mindfully learn, mindfully eat. What is mindfully? Mindfulness is about being aware of your body's reaction, be aware of your mental state and your body sign. That's what it is. In mindfulness, we practice body scan, and a lot of corporates, they have introduced mindfulness training during this time to take care of your mental and emotional well-being. And it's an extremely important initiative. Being a mindfulness practitioner, I know how powerful it is. It's an amalgamation of what our yogis in earlier centuries they used to practice and what today therapists are practicing. It is about meditating and being aware about self. And meditation doesn't happen with closed eyes. Okay? Mindfulness doesn't happen only with closed eyes and sitting. No. It is about noticing the changes, noticing the priorities, being aware of priorities, and then acting upon it as well. So you get in a calm state of mind, be aware of how your body is reacting to it, identify your goals, identify your tasks, prioritize them well, and execute them. Okay. So So there is a different training altogether on mindfulness that I sometimes conduct, and you can practice it yourself. There are a lot of techniques available on internet as well. Through this, uh, people are able to take care of anxiety, take care of the depression. We don't get to know when when we have high anxiety. High anxiety is completely related to your physical being. You will suddenly get palpitation, you will get anxious, you will get restless. That is anxiety. It may lead to headache, it may lead to irritable bowel syndrome, it may lead to stomach ache, body ache, and other stuff. How do you do it? Practice deep breathing, practice meditation, go for a walk when you face anxiety. Write down your thoughts. That's the best. Because everybody may not be available all the time. Your manager may not be available all the time. Your counselor may not be available. Your friend may not be available. Right? What do? You write it down. This practice we call journaling. Now, this is something which I personally did it when I was suffering from COVID and I was locked in a room, not able to do anything. I was going through a lot of stuff, and journaling really helped me. Now, during that journaling, I not only wrote what I was feeling at that point in time, but I also thought about the past that went by, the learnings that came from past. Now, rather than brooding about what didn't go well, I picked up the learnings and decided that okay, if when I recover, I'll do this. So I had a plan all set in those 14 days for me that okay, once I'm out, this is what I'm gonna do, and this is what I have to take care of. That's what journaling helps. So when you journal, what you do is how do you journal and what do you journal? You write down your feelings and that state of mind, whatever is going on in your mind, you're writing it down. Now, what happens? You are venting out your feelings and emotions on that piece of paper. Okay, when you're not able to share it with someone, right? That is journaling. That helps. You will see that you are able to find the what, why, and how of the situation that's going on in your mind, the thoughts that going on in your mind. That's what how journaling helps. Okay. Also, when you're doing your body scan, identify the triggers. Okay, that you do once you get into a calm state. That what makes you anxious. The moment you are able to identify the trigger, it's like diagnosing the problem. You can start working towards the solution. And when you're doing all this will help you not to get into a depression or depressive mode. Okay. Why do people get into depression mode? The common signs are they would skip meals, they will not talk to anyone, they will have negative thoughts, they will be irritable, they'll probably want to stay alone. Same techniques help. Okay, but the moment you see that it is increasing for you, immediately reach out to someone, to your friend, to your counselor, to your manager, and talk about it. Asking for help is much better than suffering alone in silence. This is one of the critical and important part of self-care. Okay, we all have lost someone or the other, we all have faced criticality, but we need to really work upon these things that we have. Okay, as champions of mental health, one another important skill that we all need to practice is empathy. And for being empathetic, you need to have listening skills with you. Okay, while as an employee or while as a person individual, you need to share your feelings. As a manager, as a colleague, you need to be empathetic with effective listening skills to give that space to the person so that he come close to you and share. It's not the physical closeness, it's the mental and emotional closeness. You need to create that boundary and environment wherein he or she comes in and take share Sharing is caring. So it doesn't go only with, sharing your food or sharing your things. It's also sharing your thoughts and emotional state. And that's how corporates are evolving. They are creating life coaching centers, they are setting up counseling booths, they are having that culture of mental and emotional support. Okay, that's what a lot of corporates are doing. A lot of helplines have come up for stress, for dealing with stress, coping with the grief of a lost one. That's imperative. That has also come up, and there have been instances wherein the person is left all alone, or the parents are being left alone. Imagine when somebody from the organization comes and say that, hey, we are there for you. Just that hand on the shoulder is so calming and so helpful and so relaxing. Of course, we may not be able to fill that loss, but just by saying it is so, so important. So, a lot of corporates are doing that. But again, I would say that it's all self management. And for self management, I think corporates have really come up well, providing all the support that any employee would need. A lot of things have changed over a period of time. So, you are not alone. People are there with you, always there for you. It's just that you have to just reach out, seek that help, and there'll be somebody to hold your hand, definitely. Yeah. So that's all I would say, and I would just I would just conclude this session by saying that while a lot of people, are taking care of their physical health, even I did during COVID time, let's take care of mental health as well, because it's one of the critical part of being physically and emotionally fit, being socially fit. Okay, as much we all want things to become normal, let's use this opportunity, let's use this thing uh, to make people aware about mental fitness and practice how to get mentally fit. So Dr. Jahangir Khan of one of our movie wherein Shah Rukh Khan was playing that role, he is there. Okay, and he is there in each one of us. So let's be Dr. Jahangir Khan first for our own self and then for others, and become more aware of self and become more aware of people around us. That's all I would like to say. Thank you so much. If any one of you have got questions, please let me know. I don't see any questions coming in. Okay, so there are questions that are coming up. I'll just go through the chat and see if any questions are missing. Hi, doing MBA in manager is good for better placement management. Yes, it's a good option. Of course, you can always do that. I don't see any specific question. Is there any question that is there?
Dear participants, if you have any questions or queries to ask, you can post the same in the comment box.
Yeah, I don't see any questions, but feel free to ask me anything. I'm there. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn as well as Insta. I'm there as Coach by Soul. So yes, I love interacting with people. I offer life coaching as well, and would be happy to take up questions. Would be happy to answer your queries and support you wherever I can. So my ears are all there for you. How to cope with personal stress? Suniti. So, Suniti, personal stress, when it comes, it would be maybe through your personal situation and all. So, try and find out the triggers. what are the triggers that's causing you these personal stress, and see if you can address it all by yourself. If not, if there is some other person who is involved, try and interact with the person when you are not stressed, when you are in a calm state and the other person is also in a calm state. So basically, when you are in an anger mode, you can't really answer well. So they say, when you are angry, don't respond, right? When you are stressed, don't take any decision. Why? Because our mind doesn't work properly. So at that point in time, just leave things aside. Later on, address them well, and take it up one by one by talking to the person. Okay. Ma'am, mental well-being and peace of mind correlation. Of course, your mental well-being. What is mental well-being? I've been talking about mental well-being, right? Your mental well-being is a conglomeration of your emotions, your feelings, and your mental state that you are in. If you are stressed out, right, you will never be at peace. If you're angry, you will never be at peace. So it is directly related. Yeah. So Sunidhi, yes, professional stress, I know. Personal stress is always good when you can talk to people and get them solved. And if that point in time, now you can ask me a question that, ma'am, what should I do when I'm angry and not at peace? Immediately leave that place at that point in time and probably go for a walk. Try and relax yourself to stay out of it, and don't think. Avoid avoid that thought for a moment. Just maintain that distance. The moment, if you keep thinking about that particular thing which is bothering you or giving you stress, you will get into a spiral of negative emotions, leading to frustration, depression, anxiety, and lot of things. So immediately have that break. Okay, create that pause and move away from that situation for a while, and then pick it up that what caused that stress. Don't get into a thinking mode. How do you heal emotionally at workplace? Okay, so as a leader, how do you heal emotionally is by giving ear to the person. Okay, as a leader, if this question is Kathir, sorry if I'm pronouncing it rightly. So what you do is, as a leader, employee has come to you for an emotional support. At that point in time, of course, have that one-on-one conversation separately in the meeting room. Listen to the person. Okay, listen to the person, and listen to the person, and listen to the person. You have to be absolutely non-judgmental at that point in time when he or she is sharing his or her emotions, because emotions are bottled up inside, and that can lead to a lot of other things. If you can give that ear and space to the person, he may share certain information which he is not able to share with anyone. He will be able to have trust in you, and you might get aware of the situation that person is dealing with, and then respond. Okay, because when a person is emotionally charged up, whether it is through silence or whether it is through anger or an outburst, he or she doesn't know what they are doing. All they need is that calmful and peaceful place wherein they can share it out. And you, as a leader, can provide that place by listening to the person and not being judgmental and not advising at that point in time. Because at that point in time, it is important for the person who has come to you to speak out. Okay, there is another way you might have experienced, or a manager sometime experience outburst. So I have seen in some of the corporates and some leaders, they have come to me and they say that the person in the meeting, he started shouting and screaming in the meeting, and going out of the topic. So how do I deal with it? And this has been happening for quite some time. So that means he's having an emotional outburst through his anger and all. So what you do is you call for a one-on-one meeting and talk it out. Again, in that meeting, listen. Make him talk, make her talk. That what is bothering him? why that emotional outburst is happening. Okay, so you have to stay in calm and peaceful mind rather than reacting to the emotions that the person is showing. Okay, I hope I'm able to answer. How do you reduce drinking habits of workers? So, Ghanshyamji, drinking habits of workers you can reduce, of course, by having some awareness campaigns, and of course, you might be doing it a lot. Having sessions with them, making them aware that what drinking leads to, and also maybe you can put a reward. Now they say the 21 days of practice form a habit. Now, if you are able to keep the person away for 21 days by probably having a reward or a competition kind of a thing, that may come up. Then there are and counselors available who specifically work for drinking habit. If somebody is a chronic drinker, then you can probably lead them to the rehabilitation center and help them get them the professional help. Is depression permanently treatable? Will medication or support be needed lifelong? Yes, it is permanently treatable. Absolutely, Reshma. It is permanently treatable. Depression is a state of mind that is there. Okay. What causes depression? Depression is basically caused by something that has happened negative, right? By something that has been caused by sudden loss or loss of interest or something, some grief that might have occurred. Now, how do you get away from depression is, and away from medicine is, talk it out, share with people, okay, stay connected with others. Some people, some therapists, they also suggest that why not have a pet at home, but it's not possible for everyone. Try to get enough sleep. Now, what does these medicines do? These are basically triggers to relax your mind, and the person usually go off to sleep. Okay. So for sleeping, you may not need a medicine. To calming your mind, you may not need a medicine. You can do it by different other ways. Listening to music, exercising regularly. Now, when you exercise, what happens? There are hormones, triggers or the chemicals that get released in your body. Okay, there's dopamine, which actually just get released in your mind, and which charges up your brain and takes you away from everything. It works for me when I'm too depressed. I do also do get depressed sometime, but it's not a permanent thing. Don't skip meals. You need to find out problems and triggers. What is bothering you? I have some of my clients who say that they're not able to open up with anyone. So my initial sessions with them is when I just go quiet and I just listen to them, that what is bothering them. Of course, there are questions which I ask them, through which they talk. So talking helps. So probably if you are a chronic depression patient, you may require some counseling session. Try and avoid medicine. If it is bothering you too much, like headache and all, you might take some, but it's not for lifelong. Challenge your negative thoughts. As I said, you need to break that pattern. One thought leads to spiral of multiple thoughts. Okay, and you get clogged there. If you break it, if you break that spiral, that negative thought goes away. Practice journaling. That will help you break the depressing thoughts. Do what you like. That will help. And if need be, reach out to me. I hope, Reshma, I was able to answer. It is curable easily. Anything else, guys?
Any other questions?
I don't see any. I don't see any in the
No,
chat
ma'am.
box. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So as of now, with your permission, I wish to wind up this question and answer session.
Thank you. You can.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for delivering a wonderful and an informative session. Your session was highly successful in the sense that it reached all the participants effectively and helped them to understand more on how mental health affects employees and how companies can take care of their team. At this happy moment, we would like to present our appreciation letter to the chief guest. I request Ms. Akshaya to display the appreciation letter.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. It really means a lot to me. Pleasure is all mine.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Ms. Akshaya. Gratitude is the fairest blossom which springs from the soul. With this beautiful quote, I would like to express my gratitude to everyone who helped in the success of conduct of today's webinar. The very presence of the honorary guest, Ms. Vatsala Banerjee, in today's program, in spite of her extremely busy schedule, is a reflection of the importance that is attached to the commitment of the work to quality augmentation. We all are inspired by your gracious presence, madam. I would also like to take this opportunity to express our hearty thanks to the management and our Honorable President, Engineer ACS Arun Kumar Sir, for his continuous support and guidance he has extended to all of us at the department. I'm extremely thankful to our Joint Registrar, Mr. Prabhu, respected Dean Academics, Dr. Arnachalam, and Dr. K. Senthil Kumar Administration for their motivation and encouragement in conducting various programs. I thank Dr.J.M. HRM for providing me with this wonderful opportunity to deliver the vote of thanks. I also thank Ms. Ramya, Ms. Deepa for their excellent cooperation and coordination in the backstage of this event. And with great pleasure, I would like to thank Ms. Vasanti for introducing our chief guest. It was a stunning profile. I also extend my heartfelt thanks to our technical team, Ms. Akshaya Ramesh and Mr. Ganesh Babu, for their never ending support and cooperation. Last but never the least, I thank our registrants for making this event a resounding success. Kind attention to our participants. The feedback assessment form is available in the YouTube comment section. You are requested to complete and submit the form before 2 p.m. today. Later, the form will be deactivated. The e-certificate for participation will be sent to your register email immediately. Dear registrants, with pleasure, I would like to inform you all that we, the Department of Human Resource Management, have lined up another webinar on September 14th, 2021 on the topic Harnessing Generational Diversity with an eminent speaker, Ms. Neeraja Singh, President, Professional Speaker Association of India. Thank you, Ms. Akshaya. We have come to an end of the program. Hope everyone has gained knowledge. With the satisfaction of presenting a good webinar, we wish to sign off and meet you all in the next program, which is on September 14th. Don't forget to submit your feedback form and subscribe our YouTube channel, Dr.M.G.R. University Phase 2 Digital Learning, and also follow our department Instagram, Dr.MGR_HRM 2019. We are also available on Facebook, Dr.M.G.R.HRM, and Twitter, Dr.M.G.R.HRM 2019 for further updates about our programs and videos. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you.
Dr.M.G.R Educational and Research Institute, University, Madurai, Chennai.